a beautiful Thursday afternoon to talk about some spring football results. And guys, I know Tuesday I was wearing a casual t-shirt, gray t-shirt, and it was Members Mark. You were thinking, is he going to wear anything nicer? Guys, I am wearing something nicer this go-round. And guess what? It's soft and comfortable, and it's pink. Get off of me on that, by the way. I love pink. But guess what brand it is? Members Mark. Members Mark sells nice shirts, too. Sam's Club sells nice shirts, too. And if you are listening right now, Members Mark and Sam's Club, if you're listening to this intro right now, look, call me. I'm open for business. I'm promoting your shirts and how great and comfortable your shirts are. Guys, it is a beautiful Thursday afternoon to talk about some spring football results and to talk about the group of five and to talk about G5 football. G5 Joel is a thing still. It's alive and well, and we're going to talk about that. And G5 Joel's coming out with Boise State, Tulane, UNLV, and Memphis. Let's get after it. Welcome to Pigskin Frenzy on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I am Joel Norris. Whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, listening on Apple, or listening on Podbean, a big thank you for taking some time out of your Thursday to just sit back, watch, and listen to some college football coverage and some spring football coverage presented by me. Now, after watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each episode, leave comments down below. Spotify, Podbean, and Apple, all you got to do is just share around with others and follow on there as well. There's X and Instagram at Pigskin_Frenzy. Follow the pages there. You're going to get episode updates, news and highlights from across college and NFL football. You're going to get trivia questions on Instagram stores, go and answer today's college football question as well as all things of today for Pigskin Frenzy, college football news and highlights, exclusive content, all on the socials. There's the website, www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. There you will find all things up to date for Pigskin Frenzy. There's a Home and About Me page. Learn more about me as your podcast host. There is a, contact info, name, email, question. I'll answer it on air or off air if need be. That's down below. There is also platforms page, all the platforms I just mentioned. Go and click on what's your favorite listening style of the show. There is also store and affiliations page. More on that coming soon as we get closer to regularly updating the website for Pigskin Frenzy. Guys, let's rock and roll, man. I am so fired up. And we are ready, man. Spring football results. We went over 4 Big Ten teams this past Tuesday. That's episode 216. Today is episode 217 on this beautiful Thursday, and it is Group of 5 time. G5 Joel is coming out. You're thinking, G5 Joel, is that really a thing? It is a thing. G5 Joel is a thing. We got Boise State on tap. We have Tulane on tap. We have UNLV on tap, and we got Memphis on tap. All 4 teams are from the group of 5. We're ready to rock and roll. We're ready to talk about some group of 5 teams and just get into it, get after it. And without any further ado, let's kick it off. Let's talk about Boise State and kick it off with the Boise State Broncos, the defending Mountain West champions. And by the way, had a phenomenal season because they went to the college football playoff. Group of 5 special here, going to the college football playoffs. They won the Mountain West again. And they ended up, going with the group of 5, right? So, the group of 5, Boise State, they represented the group of 5 well. They went to the playoff. They ended up losing to Penn State. They did lose, but they still made it. They had a phenomenal season. They were led by Ashton Jeanty, who, kind of funny, the draft is tonight. The draft is tonight. It is April 24th, and he is expected to go first round tonight. You're thinking you didn't have any mock draft or anything like that? No, because I'm not covering NFL anymore. But it's funny that we're mentioning Boise State and Ashton Jeanty is supposed to get picked up tonight. So we're gonna, and I'll give you my live tweets on that. I'm still gonna watch the draft. I'm giving you my live thoughts and tweets on that at Pigskin_Frenzy. Follow along on X for that, guys. Boise State's here in the spring. They had their spring, and we're thinking what I wanted to see from them. I wanted to see if they're prepared mentally to go back to where they were and go back to the college football playoff. It left a bad taste in their mouth, but at least they were there. They showed up. They played Penn State. They lost, but they made it to the Fiesta Bowl in the playoffs, in the playoff quarterfinal, right? So, can they get back to where they once were and represent the group of 5 in the playoff and get back to where they were last year? They got some playmakers on that team. They are returning with Maddox Madsen at quarterback. They have a huge task at replacing, at the running back situation, who's going to really replace Ashton Jeanty and be the starting running back for this team. You really can't replace Ashton Jeanty at running back, but what you can do is, get a solid running back and a good playmaker who can run the ball and be their own man, right? Then you have, at the defensive side of things, the secondary, especially at nickel, who's going to take over the secondary and add some more depth to the nickel spot. That's what I really wanted to see during the spring. And I also wanted to see one big thing, and it was Maddox Madsen being able to become a game changer at quarterback for this team. Not just a game manager, but a guy that you can put the ball in its hands last minute and he can win you games, right? And be a playmaker for this team. Now, without any further ado, let's get into their spring. So what I liked and what I saw from them. What I liked is John Brace Dunbar. I liked what I saw from him, and I liked him being able to be a solid running back addition for this team. I liked him being a patient back. I liked him being a man that can read the defense good, and he can look at the defense and see, overall what can be, okay, like there's a linebacker there. There's a back there. There's the defensive end there. If we're doing a read option, I'm going to read them there. Just being able to see and vision who's going to go where on the defense. I like seeing that from John Brace Dunbar. He looked patient. He looked like he was ready to rock and roll, and he carried himself like a veteran-minded running back. He really did. So, and he has had playing time, and he has the experience, but I think he's the best back for this team right now, and he looks like he could be the best guy to lead this team at running back and be RB1 for this team. Now, what I also wanted to see was a little bit on the secondary spot and the nickel spot. I saw a little bit of that, which I'm impressed with. I think they got some veteran-minded secondary on this team and got some playmakers on this team that can, be a solid addition for the defensive backs for this team and the secondary for this team. And that's another thing that I like seeing. I like seeing how physical they were on defense, especially at the secondary, making some good decisions and blocking and covering and being able to cover some of these wide receivers. And I think that's what Spencer Danielson really wanted to see out of the spring and the spring game. So they did really, really well this past weekend, or this last weekend, right? So very, very good for them there. So that's what I like seeing. I like how physical they were on defense. I liked how physical they were up front. And I really, really like that. So here are the things that I liked. And those are the things that I liked. Here are the things that I really didn't enjoy, really. I wanted to see more of Maddox Madsen. I think I wanted to see more of him. Full-on development. Can he be that game-changing quarterback? To me, Ashton Jeanty led this offense last year, and you had to put the ball in his hands. Like, he was the dynamic player for this team. He was the game changer. Nobody could really stop him in the group of five. He was the guy that I really wanted to see, just towards defenses, right, out of Boise State. But I want to see them switched a little bit to, okay, we're going to run the ball, but we're also going to set up the pass even more. I want to see Maddox Madsen become a game-changing type quarterback for this offense for Spencer Danielson and for Nate Potter. I want to see what Nate Potter is going to do about that. I really didn't see a whole lot about that, and I know it's the spring. We have up until the fall to see all this, but that's a thing that I wanted to see for Boise State. I wanted to see, that for them. I wanted to see him be full-on development right there for Maddox Madsen. That's really what I was disappointed in not seeing. But overall, he did play a little bit. He did look good, and we'll see it in the fall. Don't worry. But I want to see him be more of a game changer at quarterback for this team, and I think that's what I was a little bit disappointed in seeing. Also, I don't really think there's a standout guy at wide receiver yet. They are looking to add some guys to the spring transfer portal window, and they're looking to add some pieces there. And we're going to talk about who won the spring transfer portal window and the spring transfer portal window after we conclude our spring football coverage on May 13th. We're going to talk about that. That's our next episode after we conclude our spring football coverage overall, and it's who won the spring transfer portal window and who won the transfer portal window for 2025 overall. So we can talk about some answers for Boise State at wide receiver on that episode, but that's after May 13th. Now, for Boise State, they do need to have a playmaker at receiver. We're going to see if the portal's going to be a difference in that. We're just going to have to figure it out and see. But Spencer Danielson's back at head coach. Offensive coordinator Nate Potter is there, and defensive coordinator Eric Shenander, all back for the Boise State Broncos. Here is how I really grade their spring, and here's my spring grade for them and my spring result grade for Boise State. I'm giving them an A-. I think A- is the best thing I can get for them right now. Nobody's going to be perfect heading in to, the spring and the fall. But heck, not even that. Nobody's going to be perfect during the season. You're going to have to figure out stuff during the season in the game. You learn and you grow with everything, right? So that's what you're going to have to learn from, and that's what you're going to have to get at, right? Doing this, right, for spring football. And not only that, just heading into the fall. Nobody's going to be perfect. You figure out and you learn stuff and you grow each and every week. That's just football. That's just college football. But I will say this. I think there is some room for them as they head into the fall and head into the season. They got to develop on some areas. I think developing on a lot of areas, including the receivers, including Maddox Matson being a game-changer quarterback, I think those things is what I really want them to work on and kind of just push into, right, for Boise State. Overall, they look good physically. They look good physically, and they look good in the secondary for this defense. For the defense, they look good tackling. They look good at the running back spot. They look good up front on the line of scrimmage. I think that an A- is good. They got the talent. They got the coaching staff. I think that A- right now, because of those little two things right there, is the suffice answer for me, and it's the best grade I could give them for the spring. A- is my spring grade, my Pigskin Frenzy spring grade for Boise State. A- is for Boise State. That is Boise State's spring football result, and I admire Spencer Danielson. Hopefully we get him on the show one day. He's a man of faith, and he instills the word of God in them, and he instills and preaches Jesus to this team, and that's what I love about Spencer Danielson and this Boise State coaching staff. I love that, and I hope to have Spencer Danielson on the show one day. So Boise State spring grade is an A- for us, and that is the spring result for Boise State. Let's move on to the American Conference, and let's talk about the Tulane Green Wave. Let's talk about them, and let's discuss Tulane going in to, the spring and heading into the fall. Last year, it was a rebuilding year for Tulane as they entered head coach John Summerall's first season. It was a rebuilding year. And for a rebuilding year in his first year and getting everything together and getting his own talent in there, they went to the American Conference Championship first year. That's just how good Tulane is as a program. As a program, that's just how solid Tulane is. I really admire Tulane. I like John Summerall, man. I think he's a winning head coach. He's a winning head coach in the Group of Five. In the G5, he is one of the best head coaches out there. I think that John Summerall's got the tools in the the motivation and the skill set to make Tulane a solid team in the American Conference. And I'm talking about this year. And it's going to start at the quarterback position, obviously. That was one of the things that we talked about. Who's going to be the dynamics at running back? Who's going to take that leap at the quarterback spot? How are they going to look? And who's going to be that third man at the wide receiver spot? And who's going to be that guy at the receiving spot depth-wise? So depth of receiver position, who's going to take that leap at the quarterback spot, and who's going to be that huge replacement for Mekhi Hughes, who's now at Oregon, right? So all those pieces on offense are going to need to be, or at least by game one, need to be sort of answered, but not all the way. So for Tulane, you got head coach John Summerall, offensive coordinator Joe Craddock, defensive coordinator Greg Gasparado, all there for the Tulane Green Wave in New Orleans. John Summerall is hungry, man. He is ready to go back because that Gasparilla Bowl did leave a bad taste in his mouth after they played Florida. He wants to end his season on a way better note. He wants to be in the American Conference. He wants to win that conference and go win that conference championship, and he most likely wants to represent the Group of Five in the college football playoff this year. And I would assume that he would and wants to. They have some talent on that team, and it starts at the quarterback spot. Who takes that leap at the quarterback situation? And without any further ado, let's dive into their spring and how I think they did in the spring. Now, the quarterback competition, you got Donovan Leary from Illinois, and you also have TJ Finley from Western Kentucky, from Auburn, Texas State, and LSU. So the one thing that you can look at is are we going to go by talent or experience, or what are we going into? I think experience plays a huge factor in here, and I think TJ Finley is at the forefront of it. The way John Summerall and Joe Craddock sound right now, and this kind of gives us a little bit of an answer on who's going to take that leap in the quarterback spot for Tulane. It's looking like TJ Finley is a little bit slightly in the lead for the Tulane Green Wave. Slightly. Only because he's a veteran, right? If you want the short-term option and the veteran-minded option and the right-now option, it's TJ Finley. But if you want the more long-term talented option, you could go with Donovan Leary. I think Donovan Leary is a solid quarterback who can be a solid quarterback for the Green Wave and a solid quarterback in the Group of Five in the American Conference for this team. But right now, TJ Finley looks like he's got the leg up in terms of experience and is ready to probably play a little bit more now. So, according to John Summerall, maybe this could be a revival of TJ Finley's career. He has been to a lot of places. He's been to 4 schools prior to Tulane. 4. LSU, Auburn, Texas State, and Western Kentucky. You're thinking, isn't that a red flag? And it could be a red flag. Who knows? It could be a red flag. Like, why does he keep transferring? But it also could be, in this day and age of college football, one of those things that could really benefit you, you know? If you're looking for a veteran-minded quarterback, it could be a beneficial thing for you. So why not, right? Why not? Go for it. I think that TJ Finley has that leg up. We can see on everything there, but Donovan Leary could be an option for you guys as well in case anything happens, because I think both of those guys, right? Both of those guys could be the starting quarterback for this team, and I don't think I would have an issue with it. I really wouldn't. So you're looking at also the receiving position, who can add some depth to the receiving position. I think one guy that's coming into his own, too, is Amari Hayes. Amari Hayes, redshirt sophomore out of Florida Atlantic. I think he 5'9", 170 pounds. I think he could be a solid option and a playmaker at the receiving core for this team. Add some more depth at the receiving spot. I think that's a really, really good option for this team. That's a big thing there. Running back, Zachary Mobley for the running back position, who's going to replace Mekhi Hughes. He looks like he's the best bet coming out of Northwestern, coming out of Florida Atlantic. He's out of Miami, Florida. He's a redshirt senior, 5'10", 196 pounds. He looks like he could be the guy for this offense for the Tulane Green Wave. I think Tulane's got some talent on this team that are going to be underrated. Like severely underrated roster-wise, and I'm very excited to see where they go this year on offense. Defensively, they look physical. They need to work a little bit on more of their open tackling, like open field tackling. I think they need to work on that a little bit more because they are creating chunk plays on the back end without their open field tackling. I think they need to work on that, and that's one of the things they need to work on and they need to develop on. But other than that, I think running back-wise, Zachary Mobley's coming into his own. I think Amari Haynes at the receiver position can be a solid addition and a playmaker at the receiving core. And right now, we don't know officially who's going to be the starting quarterback, but right now it's looking like a leg up for Tulane. TJ Finley could be that starter for this team entering day 1 right now. So those are the things that I saw from Tulane and that I'm kind of interested in for the Tulane Green Wave entering week 1 of the college football season heading into the fall. So John Summerall, Joe Craddock, and Greg Gasparo all back, or Gasparo, all back for this team for the Tulane Green Wave. So my overall grade for Tulane is an A. I think an A right now is good. I think they need to work on a little bit, like I said, that open field tackling and without creating big chunk plays on the defense. But I think what I saw from them is really, really good. They have a really good mentality about them, like a fierce mentality. Like they are playing with an edge and practicing with an edge and getting better mentally. And I think that is a frightening thing to see for a John Summerall team with a lot of talent on there. I think an A is going to be good for them. It's suffice for them. Tulane spring result grade for Pigskin Frenzy is an A. I think it's the best grade I can give them overall, and that's what I think and what I saw from their spring, what I liked and didn't like from their spring there. So my spring result for Tulane is an A, and that is my spring result for the Tulane Green wave. Let's move on back to the Mountain West, and let's talk about UNLV. The UNLV Rebels, we got their practice schedule finally. We know what's going on during spring, and they end their practice at the end of April. So now, pretty much, they're going to start wrapping up their spring practice. Dan Mullen entering his first year as head coach. UNLV is coming off of a Mountain West runner-up appearance in the conference championship, coming off of a LA Bowl appearance as well. And Barry Odom, no longer with UNLV. He is with Purdue. We talked about them about a week and a half ago. They are back. UNLV is looking to come back and, be still at the top of the game in the Mountain West. Enter Dan Mullen, head coach now of the UNLV Rebels. And I am, honestly, this was probably you're going to think Bill Belichick and everything going on there, Barry Odom going to Purdue, Rich Rod going back to West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Sorry, I just wanted to sing it. But UNLV and Dan Mullen is probably my favorite hire. I think it's my favorite hire because what he did at Mississippi State, what he did at Florida when he was there, he had one bad season and they were ready for him to go. He's led them to a New Year's Six Bowl in every appearance besides one season. I mean, SEC championships. He brought Mississippi State to its #1 ranking. I think Dan Mullen's a phenomenal head coach. What's he going to be like when he's at the Group of Five? At the highest level, he did some great things at Mississippi State and Florida. What's it going to be like at UNLV? That's my question. I think it's going to be dangerous at UNLV. He's going to do a phenomenal job at UNLV, I bet. He's already doing wonderful in the transfer portal, bringing guys in like Alex Orji, Jaden Glover from the running back from Utah, bringing him in there. They do to add to an explosive running game. He's doing great and doing some phenomenal things. And I cannot wait to see what he does during the spring. Zach Arnett is a key problem there. He did resign due to personal reasons. We have head coach of UNLV, Dan Mullen, offensive coordinator Corey Dennis, and interim defensive coordinator Paul Guenther, until they get a permanent defensive coordinator heading into the fall. So they're looking for one right now. I think a key hire here in all this is Corey Dennis, producing elite-level quarterbacks. He worked with guys like C.J. Stroud. He worked with guys like Dwayne Haskins at Ohio State. He worked with some top-notch quarterbacks who went pro, right? So Corey Dennis knows how to put some guys into the NFL at the quarterback spot, especially at Ohio State. And I'm curious to see what he does with Dan Mullen at UNLV with a quarterback room that he's got heading in to the 2025 season. So without any further ado, let's talk about what I'm seeing from their spring and what I'm curious about. The quarterback spot is a huge thing. Are they going to start Alex Orji or Cam Greer for UNLV and their spring, right? They're getting rid of their, Hodge Malik Williams. He is no longer there with them. Cameron Friel are also vying for paying time. Right now, the huge battle, and this is what Dan Mullen said, and this is what we saw, from at least from April 9th from spring camp. A prominent quarterback battle is going to be between Anthony Colandrea and Alex Orji. Those are the two top guys right now in the quarterback's battle, and those are the two top guys right now who are most likely going to get the starting job nod, right? Between those two guys, Alex Orji and Anthony Colandrea. Cameron Friel and Gail Ocha are two guys that are, vying also for it. But the two guys at the forefront of the battle right now, according to Dan Mullen, is Alex Orji and Anthony Colandrea. So those are some two good quarterback options. I do like Alex Orji in this battle. I think he does need to develop in the throwing game. I think he needs to develop tremendously in that. But as a pure runner, and I know that's what Dan Mullen likes. He liked it with Nick Fitzgerald, and he liked it with Dak Prescott, obviously. He likes the quarterbacks that can throw, but he also likes those running-type quarterbacks. Kyle Trask was also one of those guys at Florida. And I think that's what Dan Mullen likes. So I would not be surprised if Alex Orji starts week 1 for him. So who's going to take that leap of the quarterback spot? We don't really know that, but a small answer there with Alex Orji and Anthony Colandrea are the two guys that are taking that leap as the two guys that are battling for the job right there. We probably won't know up until fall, but that's what we're seeing out of the Rebels offense under Corey Dennis and Dan Mullen heading in to the fall, right? What's the foundation of Corey Dennis's offense going to look like? That's what I wanted to see as well. I also wanted to see the foundation of the defense under Dan Mullen and Zach Arnett. But now that Zach Arnett's gone, we don't know. So I'm going to get into that here in a little bit. But for the offensive foundation under Corey Dennis, I'm liking where they're headed. I think they got to develop on certain things, play calling wise. But I think. But I think it's just still spring. They still got to get some practice in. They still got to develop and get some of that stuff in. I think besides that, for everything there, I believe that the offense is going to work out. I think everything's going to work out in that regard. But besides that, I think that it's just going to take some time. And I think that with the foundation of Corey Dennis calling the plays and everything going out and just developing on their offense, it's going to take some time, but I do want to see more of an open, more expanded, explosive playbook, right? A lot of that featuring Jaden Glover. I think Jaden Glover needs to be featured a little bit more, and I think that's one thing that I would like to see out of Corey Dennis's playbook and the foundation of that offense under Corey Dennis and Dan Mullen at UNLV. But I do like the playbook, and I do like where they're headed. I'm not saying that. I do like that, but the one thing that I'm not really sold on is I'm not liking. I want to see more of Jaden Glover and him and the explosiveness of this offense. So that's what I wanted to see. Another thing that I didn't get answered that I really wanted to see and that I'm not really a fan of is the defense. I hate that Zach Arnett left. Look, personal reasons. No one can help that. I'm praying for Zach Arnett, and I hope everything's okay with him and everything's going okay with him. But the defense is the thing that I was really, really curious on for this UNLV team, especially with them having solid defenses under Barry Odom. I want to see what's going to happen with the defense and how it's going to be led, who's going to be the new DC for this team, how's everything going to look there. That's the one big question mark that I got out of this spring for UNLV. So overall, head coach, like I said, Dan Mullen, offensive coordinator Corey Dennis, and interim defensive coordinator Paul Guenther until they hire a new defensive coordinator. So my spring result grade for UNLV is an A-. Same as Boise State, an A-. I think they had some good things, especially in the quarterback battle, and they have a solid foundation set on offense. I think the things that I want to see more is the foundation of that defense. What's that defense going to look like even more? And I also want to see Jaden Glover involved in the offense a little bit more at the running back spot. Those are the things that I think they should develop more. And I think an A- is a good grade for them. I think they have some things that they need to work on and how to get better. Like Dan Mullen said, we want to get better, right? And that's the only thing they got to do is get better. And they're going to even ask that during midseason, like I said. But A- is my grade for them, and that's what I think that's the best grade I can give UNLV heading into the fall and the 2025 season. So that's my spring results on UNLV. A- is suffice for the Rebels of UNLV. That is my spring results on them. Last but not least, before we conclude today's episode of Pigskin Frenzy, we have Memphis Tigers. The Memphis Tigers going back to the American Conference and concluding it there. The Memphis Tigers. Seth Hennigan is no longer the starting quarterback for this team. He was a solid quarterback for the past 4 years for this team. Ryan Silverfield is ready. You got Ryan Silverfield as head coach. You got offensive coordinator Tim Cramsey and defensive coordinator Jordan Hankins for Memphis. I was curious about the things there. I wanted to see what's going to happen there. Who's going to take that leg up at the quarterback spot? What's going to happen in the spring for the Memphis Tigers, and Seth Hennigan is no longer there. But enter Brendan Lewis from Nevada, the Nevada transfer going into Memphis. He looks like he's going to be he has the leg up at the starting quarterback position, but we just have to see, right? And I'm excited to see what's going to happen at Memphis and what's going to happen there and how healthy they're going to be, because that's the one thing I was worried about is the conditioning for this Memphis team. I'm curious about it, and I want to see it. So, without any further ado, let's dive into Memphis this spring and what I liked seeing from them. So overall, in the quarterback spot, who's got that leap? It's looking like Brendan Lewis has got that leap right now. I think he's the veteran-minded player right now, and he's a good playmaker for this team. Tim Cramsey's really high on him up, in the American Conference at Memphis. I know Ryan Silverfield likes him, and Brendan Lewis, with a lot of talent that they got around him, could be a good option at quarterback for this team. So if you want to talk about who's got that leg up, right? Who's got that leg up? I think that, who's got that leg up? I think that Brendan Lewis has that leg up for this team. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about was the reemergence of Sutton Smith. He's not playing a whole lot. They're kind of resting him ahead of week 1, trying to get him ready and to rock and roll for everything. I think the depth of the running back position is one of the things that I wanted to see, stepped up, and we're going to discuss that in a little bit. Things that I did like. Let me just talk about things that I did like first. Starting quarterback, Brendan Lewis. I like him. I like the quarterbacks on this team. I think the future is bright for Memphis at quarterback. I think that Brendan Lewis is their guy currently right now. I think the way he throws, the way he's playing, he has that edge about him. I think he's QB1 for this team so far, replacing Seth Hennigan. That's what I like. I like the receiving core for this team. I think they got some good playmakers at the receiving core for this team. I like the physicality on defense a little bit. I think they need to work a little bit more on tackling, but I think they bring a physical presence to them, and I think they can get that cleaned up with ease. So those are the main things that I like about this team. I think health-wise, still a concern. I'm still concerned about the conditioning for this team. I think injury-wise, I want to see how healthy they are heading into the fall, because there were some injuries, key injuries during the spring game, and I think there were some players that are out. And I'm concerned about the conditioning for this team, right? We won't find out up until Saturday, more about the conditioning for this team, but I want to see more who's going to be healthy, right? Who is going to be even more healthy heading into the fall. I'm concerned about it because in spring practice, there were some guys missing, and that's my only that's a big concern for me there. I think the running back depth is a concern for me as well. I think Sutton Smith is their guy, but who else is going to step up after that? A lot of the guys I mentioned at the running back, at the running back spot for this team, guys, as I, pull up my notes here, guys like Sutton Smith, he is, out and he was out and injured. Greg DeRoziers Jr., 200 pounds, 5'11", redshirt senior. I would like to see him, get some more playing time and step up and add some more depth to the position. Guys at the running back position behind Sutton Smith. That's what I wanted to see, and I haven't really saw that in practice just yet. Now, there's still time. You got fall camp. You got before the preseason, before the season starts. I want to see more of that heading in to the season. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing, and we haven't really seen that yet in the spring practice, but I want to see that more and more. So those are the things that I did not like in the spring, and I'm kind of concerned about for Memphis heading into the 2025 season in the fall. But overall, I think Memphis has got a bright young roster. They got a team where in the American Conference they can make some noise, and they have a heck of a coaching staff to make some noise in the American Conference heading in to the 2025 season. So head coach Ryan Silverfield's back, along with offensive coordinator Tim Cramsey and defensive coordinator Jordan Hankins. So those are the things that I did not really like for this team. But overall, the spring result grade that I got from Memphis is B+. I think B+ is the best grade I could give them right now. I think that they got to work on some things. I think conditioning and being healthy and being really healthy for this season and the opening season in week 1 is the best thing for them. That's the number one thing that I really want to see coming away from this spring. So being healthy, being ready to rock and roll is the main thing that I want to see. They got some talent on this team, and with the talent that they got, they can win some ball games, and they're going to make people pay if you underestimate them. But B+ is the one thing that I want, is the thing that I got for them, only because of the conditioning of this team. That's my spring result grade for Memphis, and that is really all I got for my spring results for Memphis. I just think that Memphis has to get a little bit healthier. Other than that, I really would like to see them make some noise in the American Conference. I think they have a shot at making some noise. So overall, that is my spring grade for the Memphis Tigers. And that is my spring results for Memphis. That was my spring results for Boise State, Tulane, UNLV, and Memphis. Guys, that is all we got for Pigskin Frenzy today. A big thank you for taking some time out of your Thursday afternoon to just sit back, watch, and listen to some college football coverage and some spring football coverage presented by me. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each episode, leave comments down below. Spotify, Podbean, and Apple, all you got to do is just share around with others and follow on there as well. X and Instagram at Pigskin_Frenzy. Follow up the pages there. You're going to get news and highlights from across college football. You're going to get trivia questions on Instagram stories, going into today's college football question, as well as all things up to date for Pigskin Frenzy. Guys, there's the website, www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. All things up to date for Pigskin Frenzy going to be on there. Guys, a big thank you for taking some time out of your Thursday to just sit back, watch, and listen to some spring football coverage and some group of 5 spring results and some college football coverage presented by me. We will be back Tuesday with our next round of spring results. We're going over 4 Big 12 teams: Arizona State, UCF, BYU, and Colorado, all on tap, coming up this Tuesday, April 29th. And we are ready to rock and roll. We're going to be excited. I'm excited. All 4 Big 12 teams coming up on Tuesday. So we got that on tap coming up Tuesday out of our spring results. We will be ready to rock and roll. Guys, enjoy the draft tonight. The NFL draft is on NFL Network and all ESPN platforms, NFL Plus as well. The 2025 NFL draft tonight at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, only on NFL Network, NFL Plus, and ESPN Plus platforms. Go enjoy it, because I'm going to be live tweeting at Pigskin_Frenzy on X. On X, I will be live tweeting and posting and giving my thoughts on the NFL draft. Still, give you my thoughts on that. Go and watch that. It's a small plug for the NFL draft, where college stars become even brighter as they enter the NFL tonight. Guys, have a great weekend. Guys, we couldn't do this show without our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. We love him, and we give him all the praise for giving us this platform to do this show on. So if you want to come to know Jesus, guys, all you got to do is contact us on X and Instagram at Pigskin_Frenzy, both channels, and the website, www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. Contact info down below if you want to talk about coming to know Jesus as your Lord and Savior, because without him, we wouldn't have the platform to be doing this show, and we give him all the praise for 4,900 plus listeners each and every week, Tuesday and Thursdays, each and every week for Pigskin Frenzy. We praise him, and praise be to Jesus. We love him so much. Guys, we love you all. We're praying for you all. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Have a great rest of your weekend. We will see you Tuesday for another edition and our next round of spring results for 4 Big 12 teams on Tuesday for Pigskin Frenzy. I'm Joel Norris signing off. We love you all. We're praying for you all. As always, stay the course.